One.
Tell me a bit about your internship.
For my summer internship, I performed some biomedical engineering research, which started at Purdue University and then at Cornell University. My research was focused on creating artificial intelligence, and by the end of it, we were able to publish a paper describing the framework which we managed to create, with my name written as second author. The research was about developing a computational framework for teaching robots to perform ultrasound imaging using demonstration data available from experts and to adapt to environmental changes that might happen on the spot, which you can see on these images on the right.
Describe the most important technical thing you learned during your internship and why it was important.
I'm delighted to announce that I've picked up valuable tools and skills through talks, active demonstration, and occasionally just pure necessity. These were skills and knowledge that would make and will make my academic life better, simpler, and more rigorous. Naturally, if I want to work in the computer science, debugging, and critical thinking, skills are required. Thank you. However, I also developed technical skills throughout my internship. Some of them include Scikit-learn, which is an artificial intelligence library, PyTorch, Torch Vision, and other machine learning related Python libraries which were introduced to me throughout the internship. I also noticed something that really bothered me. I wasn't exposed to Linux and the different tools that were used every day in my internship when in the time I have in Beria. Although I can see why, I'm certain that something needs to be done to address this. I also learned how to utilize Photoshop, which is fantastic for creating high quality flowcharts, diagrams, and even simple data enhancement. Photoshop has so many tools, and I'm sure that I will use very frequently moving forward. Of course, because I'm in a technical field which needs a lot of data handling.
What is the most important non-technical thing you learned during your internship? Please explain its importance.
It was also the first time that I had heard of this kind of research, the collaborative robotics. So I imagined I would need to learn a lot about biology, mechanical engineering, and possibly how to deal with chips. Of course, make new pieces of projects and see how everything communicates with each other. Since the people I met were very specialized in a very specific narrow field, which is what a PhD student essentially does, I really had no expectations about whatever non-technical stuff I would come into contact with. For instance, when I initially learned about the drone project, I assumed that it was just about calibrating the sensors and doing accurate physics calculations, but not what was happening in reality, that the path of the drone can take has a very big significance and it cannot be modeled just by by using algorithms that model human behavior on path taking. I gained a lot of skills regarding presentation because one of the most important aspects in a PhD is learning how to sell your work, which is what students from Carnegie Mellon and Stanford replied to a recent survey about what they learned during their PhD years.
Explain what you feel most proud of that you accomplished during your internship and why you are proud of this accomplishment.
That's a hard question. I'm proud of myself for being able to adjust to this really demanding environment and for being able to devote myself to a task that I was not particularly interested in the beginning of the internship. I'm pleased with myself for being able to keep up and study the material, which is part thanks to the training I got in GSTR 210, 310, and in CSC 236. Without these, it would be impossible for me to tell which sources are reputable or significant in the CS field. I'm also happy with the coding skills I demonstrated, but I'm not proud of the coding style habits that I used because they led me to wasting a lot of time repeating tasks that I had already accomplished.
What did you learn about yourself?
I learned to ponder more. I learned that I ponder more existentially than I do digitally. I tend to focus on the greater picture, but occasionally I overlook the smaller picture, perhaps because I don't want to. I came to that conclusion because I was so delighted that we finally had created a practical quality assessment method, which was one of the goals of the project. And I was so enthusiastic that I instantly began to like consider the applications and the presentations that we will have to give, but I didn't think about the smaller tests and smaller tasks we had to do before we even got to that point. We must extremely test everything in that field and be very diligent about our work because it will have a great impact on the people using these technologies. Even today, after completing the internship, I'm considering the possibility that I might not make a good researcher or that I'm not a very good PhD student. Whatever the case, it's important to get experience in order to understand our strengths and flaws.
How did the internship experience change your views for your after college occupation?
Yeah, due to the rigorous academic standards I was upheld to throughout my internship, I was not only forced to grow as a person, but also learn new things because my perspective on potential professionalism was very poor quality. This, in my opinion, is the most significant effect that my summer research has had on me. I must appreciate Purdue and Cornell for giving me an insight inside the life of a PhD student for this. I participated in a number of career fairs online and handshake meetings when I was in Beria. However, I was never informed of the minute details that really matter. The beauty of furthering research was made clear to me through the interactions I had with the PhD students there and Deepak specifically, who was the lead PhD student. But they also made clear to me that the importance of mental health and other related issues can be detrimental to the success of a PhD student. It is difficult for a person's mental health to conduct the same research for at least 4 years, especially when there are deadlines involved. One is for sure, I come out of this research as an improved and more professional individual.